Affirmative. Command acknowledged. Initializing. System ready.
This is the Marauder. Back with Planet Explorers 8.2/8.3 Alpha. Newt's Journeys. Steam Edition. Episode 01.
We need to start considering the long-term strategy here. I think we need to find a way to go to where the Epiphany crashed. Before that, we need to regroup with all the survivors around here. That'll be your job.
The path to redemption.
Sure, but you really don't have a choice in this matter, do you? You can either find some survivors and live or die on your own.
All hands to lifeboats. Evacuate the ship immediately. Launching escape pods. Warning. Guidance controls inoperative. Venting plasma. Red alert. Emergency. Glide trajectory corrupted. Brace for impact. Initializing.
And so it begins.
System ready. Backup systems online. Automatic pilot disabled. Emergency crews to your stations. Emergency crews to your stations.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time coming. As the first humans to ever venture out this far into the frontier, I cannot emphasize how proud I am to have made this journey with you, all of you. I look forward to us building a new home together. Let us make Baria into a shining beacon of the human civilization. Many rivers we had to cross, but we finally found our way.
Separation complete.
We are going for atmospheric entry burn in 3, 2,
Stand by.
mark!
Object approaching. Emergency evasion.
Extensive portside damage.
Get out of here!
Evacuate
Go
the
over.
ship in all corners!
Going down.
Extinguishers. Inoperative. Fire in fuselage. Implementing emergency systems. Hayloft system engaged. Evacuate the ship immediately.
Damn it. That hurt. I'm alive. What the hell happened? Now we're gonna quickly go through a lot of these things since that it was mainly covered in the 7.6 and prior. Now the 8.3 did corrupt some of my saves. I did have to go back and redo some of it. You probably won't see most of that since that I had already recorded past that point, but I will make note and references to some of those things. I'll be sure to point out any quirks and bugs that I find, and hopefully get you a solution for them as well. Also, I'm going to play this more to the ground, more to the realism, setting up quick shelters, not just sleeping out in the open, and filling in any gaps in the story that I think should be there, just so my interpretation of it.
You're awake. The way we crashed, I thought we were both goners. Never trust machinery made on Earth.
Are you okay, Gertie?
Yes?
I'm going to check out the crash site.
Don't get hurt.
Gertie, I was thinking
Oh?
I'm going to check out the ship. But what the hell happened?
Not what we were expecting, huh? Our first day on Maria, I think we hit something really hard coming down. Strange, though, since our radar system should have discovered any space fragment and avoided it. I wonder if my brother was alright.
Gertie,
What's up?
I'm going to check out the ship, see if the Hayloft system has cleared the gas.
Don't get hurt.
I'm going to try to get the communications array up, maybe get a global positioning, and see if I can get Echo online. Now I'll take a moment here to lower the audio, just the music side of it. That's accessed, of course, by the options. Press the escape button. It'll take you there.
System corruption detected. System shutdown recommended.
I'm not even getting a signal.
Oh?
Where the hell are we?
I checked the locator. We should be somewhere on the southern hemisphere. Oh, probably the Galileo continent. Here's a map.
You can adjust, say, your settings for your graphics.
What's
If
up?
you're lagging a bit too much, you can turn down the terrain distance. It seems to affect a lot of what you see. Turn down some of the grass, make it less, maybe less trees. I believe the 720 resolution that's giving you the best right now. It doesn't yet support dual or triple screens.
Don't get hurt.
Unfortunately, the more powerful your video card is, sometimes it actually seems to mess you up. You may have to go into your video card's profile, into the properties
Yes.
of that, and set it to work with this game.
Did you not pay attention at all in colonization prep class on the way over? Maria is the second planet orbiting the Epsilon Indi star system, 11.83 light years away from Earth. It has 80% Earth mass, 26% oxygen atmosphere, and 83% surface water. It's very similar to Earth. Well, before that planet became a gloomy, polluted mess.
Sorry, I guess I either wasn't paying attention or I just can't recall.
What have you been eating?
My head hurts, like a drum beating in it. Is there anything I can get for you? Gertie's letting us know that she needs to get some herbal juice from the survival kit. It's probably buried somewhere towards the back of the ship, but we have to go and get us some resources, some plants and other material from the planet. She's giving us a script for a wooden shovel. We have to get some wood to replicate it. Echo, online.
Lock codes initiated.
Echo seems to be cycling her data.
Initializing. Upgrade in progress.
Yes?
Rebooting core systems. Uploading. Stabilizing. Upload successful. System ready. Scanning vitals. Subject uninjured.
You can take a quick look here at how to build your buildings. Access through the
Don't
help
get hurt.
section. Echo, activate.
Initializing.
Scan system. Link to the ship.
Affirmative.
If there's anything left, see if there's anything functioning.
Command acknowledged.
Now the 8.3 brings the feature of being able to save your buildings. These are any buildings that you make in the world can be saved as an ISO and replicated somewhere else. We'll look over that feature later. There's also a monorail. We'll touch that in future episodes as well. Echo, try to uplink to the Epiphany.
Unable to comply.
What's the signal and try to access the communication array still in orbit?
Unable to comply. System damaged.
It looks like the hull is burnt out.
Communications array inoperative. System damaged. Critical damage. Systems failure. Ruptured fuel core. Ruptured fuel cell. Critical damage. I am sorry, ma'am. Access denied.
Damn it.
Request denied.
Looks like we're on our own. Okay, Gertie, what do we do? Inventory has 3 sections. Your items, your equipment, and your resources. Swords and shields, weapons, and shovels will be in your equipment. Resources that you gather from the planet all end up inside of the resource section, and items, including the ISOs that you build, such as vehicles, will be in the item section. Put them in your quick slot for easy and quick use.
Huh?
Herbal juice, if it heals her, it'll heal you. In the options section, you can switch between if the camera is going to follow your character or not. Now, looking over your inventory, it's been completely redone here. You can sort things much easier now. There's a section for all, a section for weapons, a section for tools, armor, consumables, and the list goes on. In this version, if you want to scan for minerals, you have to now acquire scripts from the NPCs. Gertie gives you none. I believe the first one that you'll come into contact with is Shenzhen. followed by Laolei and Adisa, and ending off with Nang Yang will also give you a script, and that would allow you to mine for aluminum. I think you'd be getting it from him. If you're clever and you've done this before, you'll have your locations either in screenshot or stashed somewhere, and you can just go back and know what you're doing. Simply mining inside of a rock face will give you a mixture of these minerals, not in abundance, but you will get everything from limestone to stone to marble, and bits of copper and iron mixed in. Mining in the dirt, in the grass, will give you, of course, some sulfur and some sulfate. Now once we have these things, you right click on the scripts that you are given, putting those scripts into the replicator, allowing you to gather the materials needed and replicate whatever you need. They've streamlined the replicator and it looks very, very nice now. It's working on a tree system, allowing you to see what you need for everything that you need. Some of the animals, of course, are slower, so your land speed is more than a match for them. R on the keyboard to shift between running and walking. The mouse button can auto-run your character. So we'll set off, gather some resources, picking some plants. That's the right mouse button. You hold that down to pick up plants. The left mouse button will operate the knife in your hand. Introduced in the 0.8 versions and straight up to the 8.3 that we're currently at is boats. Apparently Nang Yang, when he asked to go to see Adisa, he gives you the script that you need to build a boat. It looks like they've taken Nang's mission out where he sends you off on a wild goose chase to a point to test the engine, I guess in the course of streamlining the mission objectives and the storyline. Now these updates are only on Steam. They have yet to release the 8.3 for the standalone version, but the 8.2 did come out on standalone. New to the change list of the 8.3 is new armor, continents that will generate in adventure mode, rivers that will also generate in adventure mode, along with lakes. Interesting. The NPCs, biomes, and houses have been streamlined. There's a couple fixes to multiplayer. Oh, I hear we get a water pump. That should make things a little bit smoother. I think I found it. Not much here to start with. I guess the dock workers must have really packed light. They expected a smooth landing. That'll teach him. Now she gives you the script for this herbal juice, but you see now there's been an addition in this version. You can make the herbal juice here or in the other binomes as well, just by gathering these different materials. Now that's much better. Not that it just can be made in one spot. Much better. Newt will be setting out for resources. Oh, they've streamlined a few things here. They fixed up the build mode, still accessible by B, and of course the icon down by your taskbar to the right hand side. But once you're inside, there's a menu button which pops up the menu of all the materials that you have and how much you have and the shapes to what you can use. And of course, there's a save feature that you can now save your mine, save your house or whatever not, and save it as an ISO and put it down someplace else. I'll be sure to show you that later on. Get Newt up and running to get Gertie some water. Equip the pitcher from your inventory. Okay, I'll do that. In this version, the animals are a little bit, well, a lot slower. Makes them actually easy kill, and it's hard for them to flee after being injured by you. I don't actually care for that. I like the challenge and think that certain things should outmatch you and outrun you. There's a couple things to note. I'm starting off the game here. This is previously recorded. At this time, Maria was completely freshwater. Just so that you know, Maria is now salt water. They'll probably be mixing it up with some freshwater pools, hopefully, as they go along with developing the game. But now when you use the pitcher to gather water, you get a certain percentage of salt as well. You won't see that when I first begin here. You'll just see Newt gathering fresh water. Echo.
One moment, please. Accessing Mad Lab inventory. Interface successful. Mad Labs primary code. Affirmative action 001. Download in progress. Scanning. Listing ISO project. Ready to download. Download in progress. Cataloging. Advising. Tactical options available.
Echo.
Awaiting request, Master.
Inventory all weapons and mechanical devices.
Affirmative.
I need you ready for whatever comes. Catalog and category all guns, ammunition, materials, and vehicles. And upload the information back to my PDA.
Command acknowledged. Cataloging.
Looks interesting. I choose this one. Echo, select this weapon.
Weapons selected.
So, this is the weapon that we're going to work with. The first problem that we face is the material composition. The materials here are materials that we don't have. Whether it be steel or aluminum, we only have wood. We need to replace these materials with what we have. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. First thing that we do is we go into the materials section on the left. The weapon itself is built from 8 pieces of aluminum and 2 pigment and 1 copper hilt, none of which we have. So we need to replace those materials. Select a material that we want to use. In this case, we're using my my Tech 3, which will give it a certain kind of look. But Tech 3 is also made out of wood. You can also click where it says Tech 3 Select in the little box, double click on that, and it will bring up a large box which will show the elements that go into your material, whether it be wood, steel, copper, or whatever not. I have chosen the face of my material, which is an easy way of getting the look that you want. But now you see what I've done is I've changed the depth. I have taken my mouse, gone over to the section on the left. I've clicked on the first square that is lit up with the triangle. That square is brushes. It's freehand. I can select everything by dragging my mouse across the bottom grid, and then using the plus button on my keyboard to raise my depth up to whatever I need it to be, which then covers the entire ISO. Once the ISO has been covered, make sure that it stays selected and you'll see that it's red. Then go to the inspector column on the right hand side. Clicking on that button will enable me to go into a section where I can change the materials by selecting fill material. Now, once we've got the depth where we want it, we fill the material. Now we have to find the hilt. We're going to replace their hilt with our wooden hilt. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. Once you've got it down, you just remove it. Now see, we can see decals here. We don't want to mess with those. There it is. There's a hilt right there. We'll find where the hilt is and remove it and replace it with ours. Now once you get yours where you want it, there are two buttons down by where it says menu to the bottom right hand side, still within the grid, and one is a circle with an arrow on it, and then the other one is a 4T with arrows on that. Now you see we have selected the 4 cross or the 4T, and that allows us to move the part that we are putting into place, no matter what part it is, wherever we want it, up, down, back and forth. The circular button next to it, if that is selected, we can rotate the selected part, whether it be a sword handle, engine piece, whatever it is. Taking a minute to close off my windows. Tropical downpours are happening right now, so it's going to be a wet one, and you may hear the rain in the background. Just to make sure that I note this, I did not design or build this sword. I downloaded it from isoplanetexplorers.com. But once downloaded, you have the right to change or to alter it. This will be the first time I'll be using it and the first time I'll be altering it. Now when you're dealing with materials, you can choose the size of the material tile. I'll show you that some other time. I must give full credit to whoever designed it and made it a reality. Beautiful piece of work. Very beautiful piece of work. And I don't just mean the lady. So let's take a look here. The sword is called the Blood Female Sword. The creator, his name is GYK313747. That says designation. Now of course I will go back and double check, making sure that I've got all of the material out. Some of it is always more hard to find than others, and getting the hilt in place sometimes can be tricky. This goes even for guns when you're working on handles and replacing any parts. Take your time and don't get frustrated. If you do, take a break, save your progress, shut it down, come back to it when you're feeling like it. We'll keep refreshing the cost column on the right hand side to make sure that we're getting rid of the aluminum and the pigment. That's a matter of seek and destroy. When you get inside of the weapon, sometimes you have to go inside of the weapon or the vehicle, right inside of it, and seek out paint to get rid of the pigment so that you can build it without pigment. For that, we go into the paint section, click on the spray can like icon, which is to erase the paint. And we just go about using the mouse over and rub the mouse over the area, try to cover as much of it or all of it, and just keep at it till we scrub away all of the pigment. Pigment is not always on the outside, it can actually be on the inside of the ISO as well. That makes it a bit more difficult. Once we have accomplished that, everything is simple. There we go. We don't have to mess around with the feather depth right now. Now, the attack of this weapon is 85.6. Its durability is 323.1. Much better than anything Gertie is going to hand into your hands. My suggestion, make your own. Even if it's ugly, your first weapon is expendable. I did a fancy one this time just to show you some features in the ISO creator. Sometimes the hardest thing is just to find where that material is hiding. See, now this will be made with 7 wood, but pigment is still in there. So we're just making sure that we go into the decal section and we'll find his decal that he used to build it. It usually is downloaded when you download the ISO. You can't always access it from where your decals are, but if it's embedded within the person's ISO that you've downloaded, you'll find it when you go in and start messing around with their ISO to change things. The reason why the picture of the lady has not changed is because it is a decal placed on the outside, so it will be unaltered. The access windows, see, I have X selected, allows me to do the front and the back at the same time. If you select Z, it'll create a different access straight down the middle from the left to the right hand side, and that will allow you to clone anything else. There's also the mirror effect. Mirror effect is access, as you can see it, over to the left hand side. Quick access to the mirror effect is also just below the rotational icon at the bottom right. It looks like a strange T, 2 triangles facing in and a line going down the middle. The menu word is next to it, and the undo button is next to that. The redo button will be next to that. The delete button, save the project button is next, then save as a new name or a new project, followed by the export to the far right. Now my material will glow, so it'll give an interesting effect. See here, I'm trying to quickly erase all of the pigment that you cannot see, and then I'll refresh this as I go along. Try to cover all angles. There's still one piece of pigment, so it's seek and destroy. Now to the left, you can also hide the parts if you so choose. In this case, I've hidden them, but it appears that they are still there because the decals and the texture materials are still active. Okay, so the developers are working on an 8.3.1 to fix a few bugs, especially in multiplayer, bugs that affect adventure mode. And what I hear is that the 8.5 is already being built, which will open up swamps and mountain biomes for story mode. They've already got a crew, of course, working on the 0.9. And they plan to redo the entire UI system, which is the interface. There's some problems with that. At higher resolutions, you cannot make out some of the words, and that's been my problem. It'll affect this video, I'm afraid, but it'll be mainly teaching videos for the most part, so hopefully there won't be too much effect on you trying to read the storyline and it being a little bit too blurry. Now F1 and F2 are now the new tweaks for the camera mode, but I find it doesn't really change much. There's no first person. They took that out to do some repairs on it, and it hasn't come back yet in its full glory. Now, I have seen the screenshot, and I'll actually let you have that so that you can see what the UI system that they're working on may look like when it is finished. Now, once you've done that, you can simply rename it, if you so choose. I like to make a new one instead of destroying the original. Choose the angle that you want and what you want your picture to look like. BG is background color. By clicking on that section, you'll open up a color section which you can choose the color for your background. You can rename, and you're ready to go. Let's get it on.
Affirmative. System ready. Weapons selected.
And so it begins.
Awaiting request, Master.
Prep for battle.
Command acknowledged.
Echo. Scan for life forms.
Affirmative. Command acknowledged. Enemy detected.
And from here, our adventure begins. Newt must traverse this hostile landscape, building and seeking shelter, gathering materials, and looking for aid.
Initializing.
Let's go. If you've liked what you've seen, please give a like and feel free to share this video and subscribe. Tell a friend. Thank you. This is the Marauder, thanking all of my subscribers so far and my viewers, the builders and the modders. Special thanks to IncomeTech.com for the royalty-free music. Well, this is the Marauder with Planet Explorers 8.3 Alpha, Newt's Journeys, Steam Edition. I'm out.